We're back, we're live, we're Think Tech. We're Think Tech Tech Talks right now. Give it a Tuesday at 4 o'clock. And we have Ed Wright, an old friend of Think Tech going way back. Hi, Ed.
Hey, nice to be here, Jay.
Nice to see you. Ed is a solutions engineer, maybe the solutions engineer for Verizon here in Hawaii. And he has met with us on several occasions and explained a lot of technology, a lot of telephone, cell phone technology, and related technology. So we are always excited to see him and see what he's got. And some of it is on the table there. I'm pointing. There it is right there. And this is the S7, the Samsung S7, which has to be a phenomenal phone. You guys you care a lot about Samsung's S7. Why?
Well, I know a friend of mine who has one, and plus I have one. Everybody loves them. They're just a really great phone. Samsung's a good partner of Verizon. The customer experience is really good, and they have the same kind of goals of Verizon does. We want a good customer experience. You want someone to take that phone home and not just be a phone, but we're so ingrained in these devices now. I mean, we do Twitter, we're social media, sharing pictures and things, and it really gives the customer a great experience, and they really love it. And now that it's waterproof, it's really built for Hawaii.
So interesting that the whole idea. I recently saw that movie about Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, excuse me, who was not always a nice person, but he was really creative and really determined. And it's the story in large part of the iPhone, and which not that many years ago. Nope. We living in a generation that isn't that old. I mean, this is all within less than 10 years. The iPhone and smartphones have taken over the world. Yeah. They've changed humanity. It's that serious.
Definitely.
Yeah. And so, from the iPhone, which ruled the roost there for a couple of years, all of a sudden, all these other guys came in and started making smartphones. And that has evolved, in my view, to a competition, not only in this country, but other countries, between, if I'm wrong, Ed, other brands, but it's between iPhone and Samsung. For me, it is anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, they're both great. I don't knock either of them, and I always appreciate when there's two giants because it really creates innovation. You think back of the old telephone company, there was no competition. You never saw really anything amazing. Now they literally are every new phone, every new design is something that's just amazing, and they're trying to please. They're putting in more features, more benefits. So Samsung's a great partner. They've done a great job, and it really is a device that customers come back and they're very loyal to it.
Yeah, they are. I mean, and it's easy to be loyal to Android. I mean, I had to go through that. I think a lot of people, I started out with an iPhone. Most people cared about that did start out with iPhone, but then somewhere along the line, somebody said to me, if you're into technology and programming, having a lot of options and functions, and being able to set things, control a lot of settings, Android is what you want. And I'm not all that techie, but I'm somewhat techie, and so I was sort of magnetically attracted to the Samsung and to Android, clearly that was a good choice for me, because I have so many options, so many control points, so many possibilities. It's really wonderful to have that. I read recently that within a few years, by the year 2020, some incredible percentage of the people on this planet, I forget whether it was 70% or 80% or 90% of the people on this planet would have not cell phones, but smartphones. Yeah. Because of the power of the smartphone as a device to do so many things. And so we're on that track. And I'm sure, Verizon recognizes that. You're behind it in so many ways. But I think, we're in a revolution right now. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you think our interface used to be, the personal computer. You went home and you sat down in front of it, you went to work or school. But now, to even call these phones they're really computers that can make phone calls. Yeah. So you look at a lot of the companies, the big companies now, the retail traffic has exceeded what we've seen from personal computers. Social media is dominated by mobile devices. So people are really seeing the excitement of being able to share stuff real time, even news. Sometimes from some of the third world countries, we see stuff coming from smartphones, and it ends up on the Fox or any of the big stations. Yeah. because that people have the ability to film and put it online so quickly through social media.
We should break it down. We should go through, the various functions that, that the smartphone offers. Because I think, it's like anything high tech where there have been some geeks in a basement figuring it all out. They're way ahead of us, they're way ahead of the consumer. They're years ahead, and so the consumer has to learn. He has to take that device and read up on it, go down to the Verizon store and get a class on it, whatever it is, and become comfortable with it, integrate it into his life, and then he begins to feel, as I do, that it offers so much that you can't be without it. And of course, that opens up all kinds of new issues. If you can't be without it, what happens if you are without it?
Definitely.
You collapse, you have a breakdown.
Yeah. Well, and like you say, we do invite people to the store because we do have to have, these, we love doing these technology training classes for our customers because these can do so much and you don't know what it can do till you try it. And that's where, like you're saying, that really understanding, like we offer cloud, the Verizon cloud backup, definitely there's other choices, but really thinking about this, the idea of as this becomes part of my life, could I really literally lose it and replace it? And we're really there today. You look at like the Samsung, you get you had the Samsung 6, maybe the 6 Edge, get the 7, put in your information and most of your apps come back, everything goes. You may have to put in a few passwords, but for the most part, everything's in the cloud, comes right back to your device. So you're kind of like right where you were, just faster, better, quicker, and giving you the tools to continue on.
Which means that you can do what I do. My contract wasn't over, but I was so excited about I got to tell you guys that when we started setting up for the show, it was a couple months ago, I think. It's been a long time to get him here. So I began to look, and I knew he was going to talk about the Samsung S7. So I started looking at it, and in the process, I went and got one, and I accelerated my contract so I can get one because I was that excited. As it works out, I got the very same, hold your phone open, I got the very same phone that Ed Wright has, which means I am in exactly the right place. So even the golden color. So, golden color. So we're in the right place, and I agree with you. And we did not rehearse this. One of the things you mentioned as we were starting the show is the thing about the camera. And I recall that on the iPhone, somewhere somebody said that they have 600 people working on the camera in the iPhone, 600 people regularly. On the other hand, and they were best for a long time, but now I'm not so sure because Samsung has a fabulous camera. The low light is incredible. I went to a Bond dance not too long ago at night, okay, and I used it to take video for our OC16 show. And the video was so good, it played on but cable television, clear as anything you could get with a big Sony camera here. Right. Furthermore, it was at night, and you had the lanterns, and you had the dark. It looked like it was in the day. It caught every detail. The colors were brilliant. I mean, I was really amazed at how good you could get. That's why I went out and got a kit. And I am urging our other hosts to do the same thing, to take their cell phones and put a sort of a shotgun mic on it, fits right in, or use a lavalier setup, with wires, and you plug it right into the sound port there, right. And you can do cable quality interviews like this, and you can do them anywhere. I mean, this is going to open, this phone and this quality of video is going to open up a whole new chapter in interviewing people, in getting data, and in relaying that data, to YouTube. And now, I mentioned to you, didn't I, that just today, this is hot news, just today, Amazon rolled out a program that is just like YouTube. So it's citizen journalism. With these phones, you can do citizen journalism of the same quality. In fact, if you really want to, you can broadcast it through the wireless.
Right.
So it's just amazing what this phone can do.
Yeah, and with the 4G LTE network, that's one of the things that a lot of people are streaming on location, whether it's a surfing event, did the windsurfing over in Maui, and then a lot of people are, you go out on social media and it's like you're there. When the surfing contest came over here, some of the videos that people shot on their phones were just unbelievable, and they're posting them up. So it makes everybody, and I think it's exciting because then you're kind of like there. You get a chance to get real time if you couldn't get to the Eddy or any of the other events, and you can be part of it.
Yeah, so I guess what I'd like to say at this point as a footnote is that if you do this on your Samsung or for that matter your iPhone, and you get good quality video and it's newsworthy, call us up, give me a call, jay@fidel.com or jay@thinktechhawaii.com, and we will put it on our program. We are open for news and footage from every source and kind. In fact, we have you haven't been around in the studio lately, but we have a thing on Saturday called Speaker's Corner, and people come and they say anything they want within taste.
Yeah, sure, you deliver it.
We broadcast that.
Wow.
So any opinion is welcome. Anyway, so let's go through some of the other functionalities on these phones. Some of the things you can do. All the way from a flashlight,
Find your keys.
Find your keys, yeah.
Find the lock to get in your house.
Yeah, some of that stuff is brilliant.
It is.
You can put a chip on your keys or your phone or anywhere, and then it'll locate it in the world, and it'll go out mesh. In other words, it'll use somebody else's phone as a way to locate your lost phone or your lost keys. I never thought this would happen, but this changes everything. It's the Internet of Things,
Right. You can find your phone, and with the smart homes now, you could literally turn on your air conditioner before you get home, or turn on the heater. Walk up, unlock your front door. There's quite a few things, and I don't think people really sometimes these are computers. You could do Word documents. Google Cloud, there's a bunch of services out there. Microsoft has the 365, but you could do Word documents, you could do Excel, you could do PowerPoint. You can broadcast to like Chromecast, and there's a whole bunch of options, HDMI into your TV, but wireless, no wires, you're gonna love it. But those kind of things are just really making life simpler to come in and say, let me show you my dog or my grandbaby, and boom, it's on the TV.
Yeah. That's Ed Wright. He's a solutions engineer, the solutions engineer at Verizon here in Hawaii. And we're going to take a short break. When we come back, he's going to tell us how he really feels.
Hi, I'm Ethan Allen. I'm the host of Likeable Science on Think Tech Hawaii. We talk about why people should like science, why science is actually fun, how science is a dynamic and vital part of everyone's life, why everyone, every man, woman, and child on the planet should really know science, should love science, should be familiar with science. So it's a great show. People come on here and have interesting conversations with us. They tell us why they do what they do, why they love it, why we should love it too. I hope you'll join us every Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. And of course, you can see it anytime on YouTube. Aloha.
Bingo, we're back. 4 o'clock rock with Ed Wright here on Think Tech Tech Talks, yeah? And we're talking about the S7, the Samsung S7, Galaxy 7, yeah?
Yep.
And other related equipment. But to go on to some of those other functionalities, it just amazes me. When you put GPS together with Bluetooth, together with all these functions, it's like they all come together in this fantastic explosion of functionality. And every time you look, you see another app that is just changing the world.
Yeah, I love it. I use one called Waze, because in Hawaii, you might know we have a little bit of traffic.
Yeah.
And so before I go home, it knows where I am. I click and it tells me the fastest route, tells me if there's any, delays or there's any construction. And, I realize save yourself an hour on the way home.
Yeah.
You kind of love your phone a little bit more.
Yeah. And it's all through the phone.
Yeah.
For example, we have a program here where we can adjust the sound levels between you and me, not necessarily at the mixer, but on a cell phone. That reads, through the network, it reads and changes the mixer.
Very nice.
Just one of those various kind of remote control things. And one of the things that interests us is that with a cell phone, you can get the content down and pass it to your big screen TV.
Right.
Which is really terrific. It means that ThinkTech can get on your big screen TV that much easier, yeah.
You're already there.
It's true. It's already there, yeah.
We love it.
We're going to get it to you as many ways as we possibly can. And, I find that I'm relying on my cell phone more to keep notes, make calls, send email, all those basic things that are just getting better and better and easier and easier. And the thing about it is that although it is some change to have the phone, Fact is that it gives you all the functionality you'd have with a whole big computer system, and that means it democratizes the world. I mean, in a poor village in Africa, they can have a smartphone too, and they can do the same functionality, and they can access the web, and they can learn anything they want, any language they want. They can, be involved in the global conversation through, it's fantastic. This has got to be changing the world, don't you think?
Oh yeah, I mean, you think about put a Bluetooth keyboard. I mean, some people say, well, I don't want to type on the screen. Well, I mean, if you had really some serious typing to do, a term paper, or you wanted to put down a lot of notes, I mean, you can just sit down on on a Bluetooth keyboard and type at your, unbelievable speed.
Yeah.
And, it's right there, put it in the cloud, you can edit it. And, especially with cloud, you could collaborate. You can have, I've done this with a few of my peers where we put a document and it's, you're typing along, all of a sudden someone else is changing another sentence. And, that whole collaboration piece is amazing because you get all these, everybody's minds together, and some people have a good idea for formatting, some people might have a good idea for the right words, or, maybe more colorful or simpler. So it really is a neat tool, and this really makes the kind of the pathway for everybody to be able to communicate.
Yeah, it's more than social media, and it's more than the basic functionality of having an office there. It is a business assist. You could run a business from a smartphone. That's how it works these days. But going to the question of security, we had all this, and I knew it was going to happen, all this trouble about iPhone and the FBI and all this, and I just want to weigh in with you about that. We vest all our critical information on these things, passwords, bank accounts, who knows? I mean, if anybody had all that data, they could wreck us. And people are understandably sensitive about, security, about the phone. On the other hand, the phones have likewise become instruments of terror. Yeah. And terrorists can use them just as easy as anybody else. And so you have a really difficult legal, moral, practical, technological issue about how to deal with this. My own view, I'm interested in yours if you care to express it here, my own view is that we should cooperate with the FBI because we don't want terrorists or people who have bad intentions to use these instruments as tools of terror. And therefore, I don't care. FBI can have whatever I have. It's okay. And most people I know feel that way. Thoughts?
We've seen the NSA application, just click here, we know. I'm joking. But no, I mean, I really think when you talk about security, that's an area we all can do better. I mean, strong passwords, making sure your device is backed up in the cloud. Sometimes we have hundreds of hours and maybe videos or something, and you don't back it up, and then your phone, gets run over, or you lose the phone.
Yeah.
Someone steals the phone.
Yeah.
Those are things you got to kind of really have. You do for your computer, but sometimes our phone that gets a little bit off. And like I say, we do invite you to the store. We do talk about those things because there's a lot of things people don't think about. It's like, when do you think about your lost car keys? When they're gone. And like when you really should have a strategy. If I lost my phone, where's the data? Can I get the data back? Can I bring everything back? Because you got to think about security. Because if you don't, other people are trying to get your information.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people that don't even lock their phone. Well, to your point, I mean, what if I have my banking app in there? I can take a picture of the check. That's connected to my bank account. All this information for maybe your employer, your Social Security. Yeah. So really try to think through those things because we want to protect you. We want it to be a useful tool. You probably wouldn't leave your home computer sitting out at Denny's or wherever you go and walk away.
Yeah.
But it's so easy when they're this small to set it down while you're talking to someone, walk off. And have a good solid password and have some kind of retention policy. And I definitely think that is an area that's still coming because with instant communication, you have to ask yourself, what are the limits?
By the way, if you put it down like that, it won't ring.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
It's beautiful.
But you want to stop interruption, during the show. You don't have to worry, just put it down. It's
right.
Okay. I love that feature. Yeah, anyway, so you spoke a couple times already about this cloud thing, and I'm not sure I'm on it. How do I get on the cloud and save all my stuff, all my information in a safe place on the cloud, Verizon or otherwise?
Yeah, so Verizon, when you set up the phone, does offer. We have some cloud services. So does Google.
Yeah.
I use both. I use our Verizon cloud service. I also use Google Drive. just from the fact that I have a lot of documents up there that I can have access to very quickly. Click a link, I can share it, collaborate, or I could just drop it into an email, attach it, and send it. It really depends the cloud that you use. It depends up to you. But if you think about the fact that everything you have is in the cloud now, the banks have moved to the cloud. Amazon is a huge cloud provider. Azure, Google's in that same business. But really thinking about the fact that I don't want this to be my only copy.
Right.
From the point of, things do happen.
Sure.
God forbid you're in a car accident. These are pretty rugged. There's some videos they're showing beating them with a hammer.
You can break them.
But if this thing gets 40 miles an hour and goes through the back window, what's my strategy to have all my data back? So, like I say, we do that, but you don't, like I say, people don't think about it till they lose it. Then it's like, oh, I lost everybody's phone numbers. So really, normally when you set up, like when you save a phone number, it says save it on the phone or save it in Google or whatever you're using.
Yeah.
It's always good to have that copy, because then when you get or you go to your new phone, like if you went from the Samsung Note 5 to the S7, put in your passwords, bam, all that just instantly comes back.
Oh, that's great.
You're ready to go.
And that could be anything on your phone, not just the obvious stuff, but all your information. For example, I do a lot of memo writing, document writing on the phone. I do a lot of dictating on the phone.
Yeah.
All these things I do, I don't need a secretary.
Google's my
I can't have
secretary.
one anyway. But it goes up into the cloud. Now here I am, and I just stepped on my phone, or it fell under a 10-ton truck, okay, and it crushed the phone. And I happen to have insurance for that, because I always have insurance on my phone. I think it's the most important thing in life. So I go down to the Verizon store and say, excuse me, gentlemen, but I think I just crushed my phone, and I want to get a new one, and I really like the S7. And at that point, I'm thinking, you've got to confirm for me, I'm thinking that I hand you the crushed phone, and you say, no problemo, Jay, we'll just pull out one of these new S7s, and we will download from the cloud everything you had before. No fuss, am I right?
Pretty close. The insurance is usually done by an insurance company. We're not an insurance company, but definitely you get a new phone. These have SIM technology in it, so literally you could pull the SIM. If the SIM was still in good shape, you could reuse that SIM. If not, they have a 20-digit number. You can go online, because we're fully, Verizon has a portal. So you go in the VerizonWireless.com portal. I can literally change that SIM and put it right back into my device. When my device comes up, it's going to take me through, hey, what's my Google ID? Boom, anything goes back. Maybe I'm using Amazon. I log into it, and that starts coming back. I always recommend to people too, like pictures. Sometimes we capture things with pictures, our grandchildren, our pets, our family, as a reunion. But a lot of times if they're just on here. So you can set up services like when you go home, Google does it, the Verizon Cloud, and when you set it to say, hey, only when I'm on Wi-Fi. So I go home at night, I plug my phone in, I set it down, all that backs up to the cloud. So then now I know I have a copy of it so that I can log in online and get it, or if I can also download it to my phone individually. Because these do have huge, this is 32 gig, which, I started.
Or bigger if you like.
Oh yeah, you could put the SD card in it and go up to it.
Yeah, that's so interesting. There's a slot for an SD card, so you can hardly see it.
Yeah.
And the card is so tiny.
Yeah.
And you can put a really big card in there for like 64 megabytes or gigabytes,
64 gig, yeah.
Gigabytes. It's amazing
They
how
got
much data will go on that.
128 gig now.
Is that right?
But the thing is, you always want to think about the fact that if you have it in here and that was your footage, you probably want to back it up and have a copy of it. So that you may use it later or share it. I have a cloud service. I was going through pictures. I've seen pictures when I was in Cozumel 8 years ago. I was a lot younger. But it's, because a lot of times you don't ever have access. And then, with it being in the cloud like Google or Verizon, then you have access to hook it to maybe your TV or something like that. So your screensaver or your TV, when it's just on, could be, your family and graduation, all those things that just make life a little more fun.
Yeah, fun and it's empowering. It empowers you to do things you could never do. And in the competition of humanity, if you have yours and he doesn't have his, you're way ahead of him, especially in business.
Yeah.
It's really amazing. And what's interesting too to me is that just as in the U.S. this is happening, it's happening everywhere in the world. And so, it's democratization again. You could go to Tibet and find people with smartphones, the same smartphone. who do the same things. Truly amazing. And there's no place that you can't get cell phone reception these days. I know gadgets where they have a PV cell in the middle of a village which has no electricity, and people come and charge their phones with this one unit with the PV, even though there's no electricity in any of the village. And with that phone, they can call the world.
Yeah.
Unbelievable,
Well, you think we started at a lot of us started at hard computers, sitting down. A lot of people, this has been their introduction to the internet. And that wireless service like Verizon provides, that is for a lot of the younger generation, that is their introduction to the internet. That's how they're learning about the world. Getting, you think about children getting into some of the educational sites, being able to get into, just like Wikipedia. Sometimes you hear something, you can read for an hour and then you're still going.
We do that all the time when we record our voiceover for OC16 on Saturdays. We'll have a question about how you spell something or how you pronounce something. We use this, and it's immediate. And everybody, before it was hard for people. You couldn't find anybody in the crowd who would do it really quick. Now everybody can do it really quick.
Or just have Google do it. Google, tell me how to spell endothermic.
That's true. That's true. So, and of course, you've heard of the Amazon. We have one right here, Amazon Alexa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and there she is.
Set thumbs up or
See,
down for a song playing on your custom stations.
Hi Alexa.
She's going to answer you now.
Oh, sorry.
Alexa, say yes.
Yes.
Alexa, I love you.
Thanks. It's good to be appreciated.
We could go on. Anyway, so I guess the point is that these become so well, and I think what we don't realize is that the number of apps is increasing daily.
Yep.
And the range and creativity of those apps is increasing daily. I mean, just take a look at the fitness business.
Oh yeah.
Fitness, those little fitness apps make you crazy because they rule your life for good purpose.
Yeah.
But they do everything for you. It's like a personal advisor. And then when you add, this is coming, Ed, when you add artificial intelligence to this kind of thing, you could have your shrink. We had a great shrink program last hour. You could have your shrink right on that sucker and tell you what to do.
Yeah, same thing here. It's we're going to talk about the VR, but I mean, they have their watch and they can keep track of your heartbeat, see how you're doing on the experience. And I know, same with me, the fitness app. When I first got it, started looking, I wasn't walking very much. So now I'm like getting out there going, oh my God, it's 10 o'clock. I haven't hit my first 2,500 feet, steps. I got to get going. So really does help. It can help us in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking, per what you said a minute ago, there's a guy who's developing an app here in Honolulu where he comes to a homeowner and he says, are you using your driveway between 3 and 4 in the afternoon on Tuesdays? And the guy says, no. He says, well, how about we rent your driveway for you because you're near some, ball stadium or something and people need parking. So it's that kind of, really refined data analysis with GPS that can change the world. As you say, change traffic, change parking. There was another one that Uber.
Yeah.
Could Uber exist without the phones we're talking about?
No, it could not.
Yeah, and Lyft, all that, and not only here but in Europe and Asia too.
Right.
Which is changing transportation and empowering people again. That's kind. I took a couple of Uber rides recently. And it was really impressive.
What do you think about people used to ask you, hey, where are you? Now I just go, send location, boom, here.
Right. And you can find out where your friend is.
Right.
I mean, there's dozens of apps now where you can locate your friend. He has to agree, although I think there may be some kind of semi-bootleg apps that will find your friend even though he doesn't agree.
Well, hopefully there's some privacy on that.
Yeah, some privacy left. Anyway, so we're going to take another break now. It's Ed Wright. He's a solutions engineer for Verizon. We're exploring the functionality of the Samsung S7. And one thing we haven't covered yet is the virtual reality thing. And I'm going to tell you where I saw that most recently, and then you can tell me how it works. All right? That's a virtual reality. I'm not kidding. Look at that. That's it. You know, this is like world famous already. It's been out for what, 60 days or 90 days?
Yeah, they're exciting.
Yeah. We'll be right back.
Aloha, my name is Josh Green. I'm a senator from the Big Island. I work in the ER there. But on Tuesday afternoons, I get to come and spend 45 minutes to an hour with Jay Fidel and the Think Tech staff. They're terrific professionals. They help us to bring some of the leading cutting-edge topics here across our state to you. So you can join us at our show on healthcare in Hawaii to talk with leaders from across all the spectrum of health in our state, or you can join us for any other show where we talk about economic development or tourism, or some really eclectic programs too. So really, we'd love to see you here on our show. Thanks for joining us and thanks for supporting us.
Okay, we're back. We're back with Ed Wright, solutions engineer for Verizon. A friend of ThinkTech for many years, so happy to see you here. And we're not done. We have a lot more technology to cover here.
Awesome.
So I went to the NAB show, that's the National Association of Broadcasters in Las Vegas, with Carol Munley, our vice president. And we took a look at all the new technology. It is mind-boggling how much new technology there is, including technology for, smartphones. And one of the things that was very prominent was this virtual reality thing there. And they had, they had a huge area set up for people to test it and look at it. And more than one area.
Yeah.
It was like all over the place. And I got to try it. I got to try it at the Sony booth, as I recall, because they were everywhere. But I still don't understand it. So can you talk about how this thing came about? Samsung makes it, right? Or is it more, this is the Oculus?
Yeah, so it's Oculus technology, but Samsung makes it. It's licensed by them. Boy, when you think about it, literally, we've all kind of seen 3D where you have to wear glasses because you're getting different streams to your eyes. So you get that depth. You know, if you've seen a 3D movie, sometimes you're kind of ducking when things come at you.
Yeah.
So this is an untethered solution. Think about this, you could watch Netflix and it's like watching a 120 or 200-inch TV, right off a small phone like this. And what's nice about it, you're not tethered. Of course, these have the accelerometer. So what's nice about that 360 degree, when you're in that virtual environment, we're all used to watching TV. I'm just like the one in front of us. We're just looking at a box. We can see what they want to show us. But this gives me the ability, I can look behind me, I can look up, I can
Empowerment.
look down. Yeah, one of the apps I love is there's something I would absolutely never do. These guys go up in a helicopter, they jump out of the helicopter, and they're skiing down this. I mean, I would love to.
And you're there, it's you.
I would love to do it. I would just end up in a snowball or dead. But, you just like you're right there, and you're riding along with them, and you're seeing the guys cut, and you're coming down this beautiful mountain. That's something that some of us couldn't do, or like some of the scuba diving acts. They're so amazing because you really get immersed in a world that maybe you don't have access to, or maybe that's what gets you excited to go, into that.
Yeah. Well, when we were there, we went to see a movie presentation by Ang Lee. He's a famous movie filmmaker person, and he's into high tech. And he made a movie, experimental movie, using 8K resolution, which is really high, and 120 frame rate, 120 frames per second frame rate, which is really fast. That's like 4 times faster than what you're looking at right now. Let's see, and a 3D. And you had to wear glasses for it. And he made a movie. He said he made us promise not to say what the plot of the movie was, but I'll tell you, it was 11 minutes long. And it included a battlefield scene in Central Asia.
Oh, wow.
And then it included an incredible scene at an American football game at night with the lights and and everybody on the field. It was just amazing.
And the sound.
And the sound.
Like you're there.
Sound was a big part of it.
Yeah.
But this was like you were there. If the guy next to you was being shot, you felt it. If things were, bullets, whizzing by, you could feel it. You could not only hear it, but feel it. And so this was intended to really get you involved in the movie. But I said to myself, how are they going to transmit, that amount of resolution on existing broadband? They're not going to be able to do it, not for a long time. And how are they going to get people to wear 3D glasses? It's hard to do that. It's a humbug. But the point is, this Oculus business, this will achieve pretty much the same thing at a cost of what, $99?
Yeah. I mean, it's very inexpensive.
Yeah. And so if you have that quality, that kind of film, that, you know, I think, well, I guess what do you call that kind of film that you can
Visual
see?
content, I guess.
Oh, yeah, visual reality, VR. That's
Yeah.
the new acronym. If you have that in your, you know, in your cell phone or coming through your cell phone, and you hook up your cell phone by what, Bluetooth?
No, it actually, this just kind of helps block the light.
Oh, you put it right on there,
Yeah,
right?
so then you just take your phone.
Right.
This can actually do, a few
Hold-
different
hold it to
phones.
the camera so they
Yeah,
can
so you
see.
can do a few different phones. It'll still do the Samsung 6, the Samsung 6 Edge, or like the Note 5. But literally, you just connect it in.
Snaps
Okay,
in.
snaps
It's a
in, yeah.
firm snap.
And you can see to take it out, same thing. I mean, just snaps right in there. The
Yeah.
USB goes down here.
Yeah.
Then it closes up.
Yeah.
These all have proximity sensors. So just like you did by saying putting your phone down, when you put this up to your head, it knows it. And I'll just do it real quick. You'll actually hear it. Yeah, if you heard it boot, it realized it was close to me. It actually launches that application.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so and
the application is a VR application. Talk about it.
Yeah, and so then that gives you, because you want to have, you got to think about the fact that you probably have multiple videos. I have one in here, a friend of mine does PGA, he's a big golf person, so I downloaded all the how to putt, how to drive, so you can literally see the golf course, you can see the pro, how he hits it and things. So it's like dropping into another world. You got your ability to turn the sound up and down, you got your navigation, you can always go back. Small adjustment, because some of our eyes, this will take most people's glasses, so you can wear it right with your glasses. Set up the head straps. You can adjust, that distance from your eye so that you just get
Yeah, so you get a
real
perfect
crisp,
picture.
Yeah. And the bad thing about VR, you really got to try it. So we definitely invite you into the Verizon store if you're around Pearl Ridge or wherever your Verizon stores come in, because it's one of those things that it looks like a toy until you get in it, and then everyone I put on it, they're just so immersed. They're like, wow, I didn't realize it's like really stepping over into wherever that film is at.
It's got to be habit forming, an opiate for the masses, you know.
I know.
So, questions though. You have to download the movie, the VR movie, into your phone, or can you take it live from somewhere else?
Typically, you do download it because they're pretty big files. They're like 1.5 GB, 2 gig, 3 gig, 4 gig.
Okay.
So typically, it is downloaded because you could do it like Netflix runs beautiful because if you have a really fast connection, but no one wants buffering in a virtual reality
No.
because you're like
No.
But they're pretty big files. So typically, you can set like 4 or 5 of them, and they're downloading. But usually, you'll have one down. You can go to that one and go to the next one. It's just a really neat technology. And what's really funny is it's fun to do, but then to watch other people. You put it on their heads, and you see them, they're ducking and they're kind of around. They're trying to move around, and it's really helps you see that it's no longer a toy. It's like it really tricks the mind, and because of that accelerometer and the movement, I mean, literally anywhere you look. It's like you're literally there.
So you don't have to, it's not a matter of turning your head. You can turn your body.
Yeah.
And it'll know that you've turned your body, like an inertial guidance of some kind. Yeah. And the other thing is, will any phone work on this or just certain phones? What phones will work on this?
So on the Samsung, it's going to be the Samsung.
It'll just
6,
be the Samsung.
Yeah, the Samsung 6 Edge.
Yeah.
The Note 5.
Yeah.
And then the Samsung 7 and the Samsung 7 Edge.
Do you have to have an adapter for the bigger ones?
No, actually, they really did a neat design, which I was kind of impressed. So if you look, I'll take the phone back out here. Oh, I got the wrong side. Okay. When this comes out, I don't know if you can see it right here, but there's actually an adjustment. So like
So
on the
it
Note.
automatically takes the larger size.
Yeah, so the Note 5, which is a little bit bigger phone, you just
Yeah.
click it, you push the button, click it down one, it can take the bigger phone. So they've done a nice job. There are some other companies that make these. I think Samsung's got the price point just perfect. I mean, most people have a Bluetooth speaker, so you really have all this functionality right here in a very small, lightweight.
Sound would go from your phone in the VR movie by way of Bluetooth to your Bluetooth speaker system. So you can get that same fantastic sound that I got with Ang Lee's movie.
Yeah. So right now they're kind of playing it, but then there's all these 4G or what they call 4D sound headphones coming out, plus the cameras. That's the big thing now, and Samsung's working on a 360 camera.
Yeah.
So you can do your own movies, maybe your graduation, a wedding. And imagine you go into a wedding, you could literally, and
You're
grandma
there.
who couldn't go or something could actually look around and see who was there, and oh, there's uncle, there's aunt, and all that stuff. So it really coming in some neat things.
They're not out yet, though.
They are coming out quickly.
Oh.
And then there's like they have games with game controllers, so you can actually interact. And like I said, it does hook to the Samsung Watch to look at your heart rate, things like that. So it's
Will we be able to take the movies off the phone? Will the phone allow you to make a VR movie?
The problem, you can film off these. The real issue is True VR has a camera looking up, camera looking down, and a camera looking 360.
Yeah.
That's why when you're able to
You have to have a
look,
special camera that does all of that.
it does all of it. Now you can kind of play it. There's some software that'll stitch it together, but really to have seamless, you're really filming through all those as you go through.
Yeah.
And when you get a chance to get to use this, you'll see that literally it's like no matter where you're looking, you can
There's
actually
something
see
there.
the film. Yeah, because they caught all the different angles that when it was being filmed, so that when you're back in the experience, you can. There's one with a helicopter. It's really cool, and I like to fly helicopters for fun. I'm looking back at the tail letters of the phone. I'm looking at the rotor, which plane, and then looking down. So it's really a neat experience.
Who needs a drone when you have this?
Well, and they're starting to use those for drones.
Is that right?
Yeah, so as they interface to the drone to look around and see what's going on and things like that. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
So does it need batteries? You talked about all this functionality. It sounded like it needs batteries to do all the things it needs.
No, it actually does not. There's no batteries in this. It's just a lightweight headset. Everything's actually run on the phone.
Oh, the power comes from the phone.
Power comes from the phone. This is just giving you the optics because it actually feeds two different streams to your eyes. And so you get the depth and you get the motion and you feel like, because like when you're watching a TV, it doesn't look like you're there. But I mean, when you put this on, there's one, like when you're watching Netflix, you literally are sitting on a couch. You can look over here. Here's the remote. You can see your Coco sitting there. Now you can't grab it,
Yeah.
but then you can see the TV. I mean, it's like you can look over. You got the Rocky Mountains out the window. So it's just
It must be
very exciting.
disconcerting because you're in another world, which isn't real, but it seems real. I guess one of the issues, and I saw a little movie about this at NAB show, is that you got to be careful. You can't walk around because
True.
you can't see anything.
That's true.
It's like being in a box. You can't see anything. So you pretty much ought to stay in one place.
It's safer. But there's like this has a Google the Street View. So like I actually went to Rome and I walked around some places I've never been to, Leaning Tower of Pisa. Anything that Google has kind of mapped
mean
out.
virtually
everything.
you went
Yeah, well,
around.
virtually, yeah. But you're literally able to kind of look around and see what's happening. I actually did my street. I walked up and down my street, which was kind of cool. Like, oh, that's when my hedges were. But they're looking for. They're always finding new ways to use this, and we can talk later, but there's some really neat fields that are coming up that are starting to use this for training and education and things.
And I had just now the thought about if you merge this kind of technology with Google Earth, you could walk the Earth
Yeah.
and see in 360 and up and down everywhere by not even staying. It's that Tom Cruise movie. Do you remember the one where he could see everywhere and
Oh,
do
yeah.
everything? And
Has a big screen.
yes, the big screen. Yeah. So what do you think the future is? Just take a minute and tell me, what do you think the future of this is going to be? Is this disruptive technology? Is it going to change the world sort of the way the cell phone did?
I think it is. So, for example, I have on this one a medical app. So you're literally driving in a Mini Cooper. You got your phone right here. All of a sudden, this bus, or I think it's a bus or a truck, hits you. Then all of a sudden, you're coming in an ambulance. You're in the ER, and then they take you in there. Now you're the doctor, and it starts taking you. So think about for medical training. I mean, we've all maybe done biology or something that first time. Now, virtually, it's not so bad. I can always just get out of it if it's too much.
Yeah.
But for like medical, they're starting to use it for like fire. The first time instead of just throwing these guys into a fire, they could do it virtually. So they kind of get the mind set to how it's going to happen. So then when they make that next step of being real, it's not so impactful. They're using it for like military training. They're using it for education. I've seen a lot of people now, the real estate guys are looking at it because you got coming into Hawaii by
Walking
the house.
through the house.
Yeah, you could literally walk through the house and you get, unlike just the virtual pictures, you get the actual spatial feel of what the house is. So I think it's very disruptive from the point of view of being able to take people to places and go through things that maybe they really, couldn't, or we want to kind of acclimate them to that before we throw them into jumping out of a helicopter.
Yeah, I think what's just interesting is the last thought here is that who would have thought like 10 years ago that Verizon would be selling and promoting virtual reality gizmo like this? How close is that to the notion of a conventional telephone? It's not. You're a technology company now.
We are definitely.
That's the kind I go to a Verizon store, I see all kinds of technology it's an extension of the phone, but you would not have expected it.
Definitely. Yeah, can I change my thermostat? There's so many tools to get an email from your car that says the oil needs to be changed. They really are integrating, like you said, the Internet of Things. Everything is kind of webbing together to be connected, to get a note, hey, I got a leak in my house, or someone shows up to my house, I could unlock the front door. Did I close the garage door? You could literally open on your phone if you had, the sensor. Oh no, I forgot to close my garage door, but I'm encapsulated. Boom.
Yeah.
Kind of neat things.
And that's today. When we meet again in a couple months, maybe, you'll update us on things we hadn't even anticipated today.
Definitely.
The technology moving so fast. That's Ed Wright, who loves his job. He's a solution engineer for Verizon, but he comes around and tells us about the latest and greatest thing here on Think Tech Talks. Thank you so much, Ed.
Always my pleasure, Jay.
Aloha.
Love coming.